Namaste and welcome to Devi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. This is Yamajit, and thank you so very much for joining me for our Friday Puja and Satsang. Tonight is part 62 of our series on the 64 Yoginis, and tonight is Yogini number 62, Ajita Yogini, the invincible one. Before we begin, I'd like to start out with a couple of announcements. So this coming Tuesday at 7 p.m. will be our next installment of Kali for Everyone, and this will be a puja and a satsang to Kaligat Kali, one of the key forms of Kali in the city of Kolkata, which in itself is known as the city of Kali. And then a week from today, next Friday, this will be the first Friday in July. So this will be our monthly Cho meditation practice for personal and collective healing. And this will be a Cho which is dedicated to Dakshin Kali, the Kali of the South, the Kali of the cremation ground. And then I have a third announcement. A couple of weeks, the week of July 6th, there will be no broadcasts. My wife, Jamie, is having her second knee replacement surgery on the 6th. And so, in order to best take care of her that week immediately following her surgery, I will not be doing any puja or satsang broadcasts that week. However, the following week we'll be resuming our regular programming. So anybody who happens to be tuning in at this time, please feel free to say hello using the chat function on the bottom of your screen. And again, welcome and namaste. So Ajita Yogini, who we see in our picture, this is a photograph of her image in the Hirapur temple. This is the Chausati Yogini temple, the 64 Yogini temple in Hirapur in the state of Orissa. Ajita is a name that appears in some lists of the 64 Yoginis. The circle of tantric goddesses associated with the manifestations of the divine feminine are the 64 Yoginis, with the exception of the remaining 4, which are found in a cubicle in the center of the circular 64 Yogini temple. And Ajita is the second of those Yoginis. And the name Ajita means the unconquered one, the invincible, or she who cannot be defeated. Different tantric traditions preserve different lists of the yoginis, so details about a specific yogini, such as Ajita, can vary considerably. Unlike major deities such as Tara or Kali, many yoginis are known primarily through temple traditions, through iconography, and esoteric texts, rather than widely shared mythologies. From a symbolic perspective, Ajita Yogini can be understood as embodying invincibility of spiritual awareness, victory over our fears, and a victory over ignorance, inner strength that cannot be overcome by external circumstances, so really a spiritual strength, and the unconquerable power of Shakti, divine energy, the Divine Mother herself. In yogini symbolism, the yoginis are often viewed not merely as separate goddesses, but as facets of one divine mother, expressing different powers and states of consciousness. And in the Chausati Yogini temple of Hirapur, that seems to be Ma Bhairavi. At the Chausati Yogini temple, Ajita Yogini is considered most generally the 62nd of the 64 yoginis. And again, her image is in that central wall rather than in the interior of the circular wall surrounding the center of the temple. In tantric symbolism, this points to a state of consciousness that remains means centered, present-centered, untouched by fear, untouched by attachment, praise, blame, gain, or lost. Ajita embodies invincible Shakti, the spiritual power that cannot be overcome because it rests in its own essential nature. A meditation on Ajita might involve reflecting on what in you remains unconquered by circumstances, or what awareness is present before fears arise, or what inner strength survives change, loss, and uncertainty. A simple contemplation one might do connected to Ajita is, O Ajita, unconquered mother, reveal the strength that is not aggression, the courage that is not hardness, and the freedom that cannot be taken away. Within the Yogini mandala, and this can be the circular Yogini temple, such as the one in Hirapur, or it can be a yantra to the 64 yoginis that is in the form of a lotus with 64 petals. So Ajita can be viewed as one expression of the divine feminine power to remain sovereign and undiminished amidst constant transformations throughout our lives. Spiritually, Ajita Yogini represents awareness that can't be harmed or diminished, consciousness untouched by pleasure or pain, the witness state that remains stable throughout change. So this isn't necessarily a physical invincibility, but inner invincibility, inner strength, something in experience that cannot be defeated again by external circumstances. In tantric interpretation, the real battles, when we talk about victory over our inner enemies, those battles are internal. These can be battles against fear, battles against desires, battles against ego identification, attachment, and aversion. And Ajita symbolizes the point where these forces no longer define or control our awareness. So Ajita is a non-reactive power, a Shakti without agitation. Unlike warrior deities who defeat enemies externally, Ajita represents power that doesn't need conflict, strength without aggression, authority that is calm and not reactive. It aligns with Yogini symbolism generally, power that is immediate, direct, and self-contained. As part of the Yogini mandala, and really an expression of the wholeness principle, in the circular shrine of the Hirapur temple, each yogini is one facet of a complete energetic system. So Ajita's role can be understood as the unbreakable axis within the circle, the axle on which the wheel is turning, and a reminder that even transformation and chaos occur within the undisturbed center. So Ajita represents tantric fearlessness, what is known as abhaya consciousness. The yoginis often represent liminal forces, cremation grounds, thresholds, night, transformation, birth, life, death, followed by rebirth. Ajita specifically embodies fearlessness that arises from direct perception of reality, freedom from being psychologically conquered by death, time, or uncertainty. So, in simple terms, Ajita Yogini symbolizes the part of awareness that can't be defeated, shaken, or erased, no matter what changes in life. She's not dominance over others, but about irreducible inner freedom. So the Hirapur temple, if we look upon our altar image, Ajita is depicted as a four-armed goddess, but her hands have been broken away as they have with so many of the other images in this temple. Thus, we don't know what she might have been holding and what clues her instruments might have provided by telling us her functions and attributes. It's possible that she held a sword, uh, especially in this upper right arm here. And that was one of the first weapons I hypothesized looking at this image, because when we look at the sword, especially Kali's sword, the sword is an invincible weapon. So if you have the sword of Kali, you can't be defeated. Another of the arms may have been holding Abhaya Mudra, the mudra of dispelling fear. Other things that she might have held might be the Vajra. Vajra means lightning bolt, and it also means diamond. And of course, diamonds are the hardest substances and relatively indestructible. And there is at least one other image at the Hirapur temple where the Divine Mother form is holding a Vajra, very much like this one of the Tibetan form. It's possible that one of her arms might have been holding a lotus, because lotuses represent both purity and spiritual resilience. The lotus blooms unstained from muddy waters, making it a symbol of remaining unconquered by adversity. She may have also have been holding the chakra, or the spinning discus of Vishnu, which represents divine protection, cosmic order, and the destruction of evil. So those are some possibilities of what this image of Ajita might have been holding, and what may and possibly some clues as to her functions. The most conspicuous thing that still remains is her mount, and that is a deer. And the deer has a special significance in Hindu mythology. The deer represents the restless mind. One of the most common symbolic readings is psychological. The deer represents the mind, or manas. It is quick, sensitive, easily startled, and constantly moving. It reacts instantly to sound and perception. In meditation traditions, it becomes a metaphor. The mind runs after impressions the way a deer runs after movement or sound. So this is why yogic texts often emphasize catching the deer of the mind, not through force, but through stillness. The deer is also closely associated with Lord Shiva, especially in his ascetic form. And so this would be very fitting with the key goddess for the Hirapur temple, which would be Bhairavi. And she's the Shakti of Bhairava, or Bhairab, who is the wrathful form of Shiva. So common symbolic associations include Shiva holding a deer in one hand, sometimes the deer representing controlled sensory energy or mastery over restlessness through yogic discipline. And so Ajita standing upon the deer, taming the mind through yogic practice, yogic discipline. So Shiva does not destroy the deer, he does not destroy the mind, but stabilizes it. The deer becomes a symbol of tamed awareness, not eliminated desire. The deer is also a symbol of gentleness and innocence. In broader Hindu mythology, deer represent both of those concepts, along with purity of perception and non-aggression. Because deer are soft, alert, and nonviolent animals, they're associated with sattvic, or pure qualities. The deer is also sometimes used to symbolize yearning for the divine, searching without full understanding, attraction to subtle inner experiences, to sound, to beauty, to fragrances. And in this sense, it represents our souls that are drawn towards something it senses, but not yet fully grasping. It's really the devotee and the search in which the devotee makes throughout life. In early Vedic culture, the deer skin was used by sages as a seat, that is, an asana, for meditation. Deer were associated with forest sages and withdrawal from society, and the animal appears in ritual symbolism tied to austerity and ascetic life. And this reinforces its link to renunciation and contemplative practice. While not a primary symbolism of Lord Krishna, deer often appear in the pastoral forest imagery of the Vrindavan like settings: peaceful forest life, harmony between beings, natural innocence and divine play, harmony within oneself. So, in one synthesis, the deer in Hindu symbolism generally represents the mind in its natural, restless, sensitive state, capable of both distraction and refined spiritual awakening when brought into full awareness. There's no widely attested independent Ajita mantra. Really, actually, I want to go back to the deer a little bit. So, Ajita again standing upon the deer. It's really the stabilizing of restlessness, the stabilizing of our minds. So there is no widely attested independent Ajita Yogini mantra preserved in Sanskrit texts or published in records of the Chasati Yogini temple in Hirapur and its tradition. Unlike major deities like Tara or Shiva, the 64 yoginis, including Ajita, are generally as honored as a group. Again, the Yogini Mandala, not individually in fixed public mantras. Mantras associated with tantric esoteric practice, often transmitted orally in initiation lineages. So, a lot of the mantras I've shared with you in this series are mantras associated with many of these figures in the 64 yogini tradition who are also independent goddesses. So, the individual yoginis tend to be described more in sculpture and symbolism more than in standardized liturgies. So, what practitioners typically use instead are, in traditions that honor the yoginis, are rituals and meditations where all 64 are being honored, or the central goddess of the mandala is honored, or a general Shakta mantra, goddess centered mantra. So, one general yogini invocation and mantra that one could use for Ajita or one of the other single yoginis would be Om Yogini Bhyo Namah, Om Yogini Bhyo Namah, Om Yogini Bhyo Namah, meaning simply salutations to the yoginis. One could also use a mantra like the Navarna mantra, Om Aing Rim Klim Chamundai Viche, because that mantra has associations with the Divine Mother and all of her aspects. But one that we're going to use, a simple contemplative name-based mantra for Ajita that we're going to be using in our puja and also in our meditation, will be this one. Om Ajita Yogini Namaha, Om Ajita Yogini Namaha, Om Ajita Yogini Namaha, meaning salutations to Ajita, the unconquered yogini. Jai Ma Ajita, Jai Ma Ajita, Jema Ajita Namaha. So, before we begin our puja, and we'll be doing fire offerings, and we'll be doing a guided meditation as well. I invite you to find a comfortable seated position where you can look upon our altar and our image of Ajita with a relaxed gaze. I'd like to welcome Zigzag Zebra, and he mentions that Ram's story has a deer as a prominent role as well, and thank you for sharing that as well. So I invite you to look upon the image. Maybe you find your awareness being drawn to this image of the Divine Mother. And maybe as you sit and breathe deeply, maybe you're drawn toward the deer, and being drawn to either of those would be very appropriate. But breathe slowly, breathe deeply. And use this breathing to steady that restless deer that is our minds. Letting go of those distractions, which would include things that have happened or things that need to happen at some point. Let the act of breath be the stabilizing force, which is Ajita herself. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing away the restlessness, breathing in stillness, breathing in calm, breathing in stability, breathing in one-pointedness. Focusing your breath and your attention on your heart center and taking a moment to connect with the divine in whatever form it manifests for you as an individual. And also take a moment to think about something in your life that is ready for healing or transformation or resolution. And ask for help from the divine in receiving what you need at this time. And then I invite you to slowly bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And let's open our practice by chanting the 4 parts of our mantra. We'll chant Om, chant Ajita Yogini Namaha. Inhale Om. Inhale Ajita. Ajita. Inhale Yogini. Yogini. Inhale, Namaha. Om. Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvadivastam Gatopiva Yashmade Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi. Om Shuklam Bharadhanam Vishnum Seshivanam Shatobhijam Prasnavaranam Dayat Sava Vignopasantaye Jai Ganesha. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guru Ve Namah. Jai Guru. Om Trayambakam Yajamaye Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukameva Bandhanan Machur Mukshiyam Amritarum Namah Shivaya. Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishvesvara Pe Vishvam Tvamishwara Devi Chachara Charasya Jima Devi. Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Shama Shiva Datri Svasvada Namostute Jayatvam Devi Chamunde Jaya Bhutita Harani Jaya Sarvagate Devi Kalaratri Namostute Jema Kali. Om Ajita Yogini Namaha. Jema Ajita. Jema Ajita. Jema Ajita Yogini Namaha. So I invite you to join me in chanting our mantra, Om Ajita Yogini Namaha, as I give our puja offerings. Om Ajita Yogini Namaha. 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 Om Om Ajita Yogini Namaha. Om Ajita Yogini Namaha. Om Ajita Yogini Namaha. Om Kapuragoram Karunavataram Samsara Sadam Bhujagendra Haram Sada Santam Hridayada Vinde Bivam Bivani Saitam Namami Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishvesvara Pe Vishvam Tvamishura Devi Chachara Charasya Om Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha Agni Jyotir Jyotiagnir Svaha. So we'll continue with the mantra. Om Ajita Yogini Namaha. 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 Breathe deeply. Meditate upon the fire. Imagine yourself giving those things that no longer work for you as an offering for transformation to the flames. Imagine yourself extending your hands and letting those things drop into the fire. And feel those transformed energies coming back to you in the form of light and in the form of heat and warmth. Let insecurity be transformed into self-assuredness. Let fear be transformed into courage. Let affliction be transformed into health. Let disruption be transformed into peace and stability. Let poverty be transformed into wealth. And as you meditate, I invite you to sit comfortably. Let your spine be natural and steady. And allow the breath to settle without forcing it. Feel your body resting upon the ground, supported and unmoving. And then gently close your eyes. And focus on your breathing. With each exhale, release effort. With each inhale, begin to notice awareness, becoming clear and open. And as you sit and as you breathe, thoughts may come and go like wind through an open space, but you need not follow them. Just remain aware. And then in your mind's eye, I invite you to imagine a vast stone circular shrine at night, the temple to the Yoginis. The sky is open above it, and around the circle stands the images of the 64 Yoginis, each in her niche, silent, yet alive with presence. And in the subtle light, you see one figure more clearly. In the center of the circle, Ajita Yogini, the unconquered one. She doesn't move toward you. She doesn't withdraw. She is just simply there. Her presence is steady and unshaken, not aggressive, not distant, but completely undisturbed. Feel what it is like to be near something that cannot be shaken by fear, by memory, or uncertainty. And let this feeling be felt in your own awareness. So I invite you to bring anything within you that feels unstable at this time in your life. It could be a worry, a doubt, an emotional turbulence, or the pressure you may feel to become something or somebody else. Don't fight it. Simply imagine your hands opening, and imagine you simply placing it in Ajita's presence. And silently, I invite you to acknowledge. You tell her, I offer what is restless. I offer what is restless. I offer what is restless. And now begin to sense what Ajita represents, not as a figure outside you, but as a quality of awareness itself. Notice any thoughts that might arise, but awareness is not harmed. You might notice that emotions shift, but awareness remains. You might notice that the body changes, but awareness still continues. Something deep within you is never conquered. Just allow yourself to rest in that recognition. And if your mind still feels scattered, begin to imagine a gentle deer in the forest. It's alert but safe. No danger is present. Slowly it stops running. And let that same softness enter your attention. And then take a deep and clearing breath and let the image fade. No shrine, no yogini form, no deer, no forest. Only the felt sense of stability without tension, awareness without fear, presence without struggle. Just allow yourself to stay here quietly. No need to do or maintain anything. O Ajita, unconquered mother, reveal the strength that is not aggression, the courage that is not hardness, and the freedom that cannot be taken away. And when you're ready, become aware of your breath again. Feel your body. Notice the room around you. Slowly bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And before opening your eyes, reflect softly. What is unconquered in me remains aware. What is unconquered in me remains aware. What is unconquered in me remains aware. And then slowly and gently open your eyes, returning to our fire, returning to our altar. Jai Ma Ajita. Jai Ma Ajita. Jai Ma Ajita. And take a moment, giving gratitude to that divine presence again within yourself, recognizing that that power is there to guide you and to heal you and to teach you. And give gratitude to yourself for taking part in our practice tonight, knowing you can replay the meditation again whenever you have need. You can also play it for somebody else. And namaste. Blessings always. Thank you so very much for joining me. And Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'd like to thank Zigzag and Shalaja for joining me this evening. So you are my two who are joining online. So as I've always said, whenever I do a practice like this, it is truly meant for those who are present at that time. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed our practice. I look forward to you joining me on Tuesday. when we honor Kaligat Kali, a favorite of mine, one of my favorite temples in India. I'll share some stories about that. And also, I'd like to give my thanks to anybody who'll be watching the recording of this broadcast in the future. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Please take some time for some quiet contemplation before once again picking up the activities of the day or the evening. And again, Jai Mata Di, Jai Mata Di, Jai Mata Di. Namaste. Have a good night. Jai Ma.